Hello and welcome to episode 268 of the Epic Film Challenge 2,000 More Movies You Must See Before You Die from 1987 from the Coen Brothers, raising...
87.
Yes, 87.
It's a big year. Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
With Nicolas Cage and what's her name?
With Nicolas Cage and what's her name? Holly Hunter. What's his name? H.I. McDonough, I think. So Hi. So
Herbert.
Herbert, yes.
No wonder he's called Hi.
And his lovely...
Hi and Ed.
And his lovely wife, Ed. So this is one of the first films I watched for this whole series 7 years ago. We both watched it. But
What did we do a review for?
I have no idea.
We watched it for the series and we didn't review. Stupid.
Yeah, I have no earthly idea why we didn't do that. But here we are now, 7 years later. We've rewatched it, and I'm kind of glad we did. It was. I enjoyed it even more than the first time. So this is a story about Nicolas Cage's character Hi, who is a repeat offender of holding up grocery stores. He just doesn't learn his lesson, keeps going back to jail, and then he kind of has a thing for the woman at the police station or the jail who takes his picture his mugshot whenever he comes in from the robbery, and she kind of likes him as well. And so finally he decides to get together with her, get married. They go off, they live in a trailer in the desert, and they try to have a kid, but they can't because she can't have kids. And then a local businessman, this guy who runs a big department store, is it a department store or a furniture store? And his name is something Arizona, Nathan Arizona. And Nathan Jr. So Nathan Arizona and his wife have unexpectedly given birth to 5 kids, quintuplets. And so Ed, Holly Hunter, is like, wow, they've got more than they can manage. So
That's what they said in the newspaper.
So let's just go and take one for ourselves. And
why should they have so many when others can have so little?
Yes. So this film is a perfect example of how it isn't always about what is the story you're telling in a film. It's how you tell the story. Because this could be like a really deep, dark thriller of this like wild couple who go and steal a baby.
Yeah, but instead it's such a funny comedy.
It's such a farce. The Ed and Hi are treated as such heartwarming characters, you know. So it's just this complete swap where the logic, not the logic, but the morality of it just doesn't really come into play. It's just a complete farce, but there's like heart to it randomly at the same time. It actually has you actually feel like a lot of sympathy to these characters. You feel like they feel like they're doing the wrong thing, the right thing, I should say. It seems as if they, you know...
Well, it's like rooting for the bad guy in a way.
A little bit, but I know it's more than that. They really are the good guys of the film, and you feel for their predicament, and you understand what they're doing is wrong, and you hope by the end of the film they'll realize that too. But it's a brilliant film. It's a hilarious film, and just so many great parts. And it's interesting because the first the scene when Hi goes to steal the baby, so the babies are upstairs in their room, and then we're on a shot in the living room with Nathan Arizona and his wife, and just the framing of it. You mentioned Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
I thought the whole prologue of the film felt very Wes Anderson-y. It's like an 11-minute montage of Hi going to jail, getting out, going back again, getting out, going back again, you know, getting together with Ed, then getting married, trying to have kids.
And the comedy of it too, like the timing of the comedy.
Yes, the timing of the edits.
Then.
Yeah, okay then.
Okay then.
Now you're just not telling us what we want to hear, right? Okay then.
We want to hear the truth.
Oh, well, in that case, okay then.
I'm telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah, the timing of it and the music, it just all felt very of the Wes Anderson mold, which of course hadn't happened at this point in time in 1987. So
maybe he was inspired by
I would think he was inspired by films like this, films like Harold and Maude, like the weird kind of offbeat humor which this film captures brilliantly, I think. You got John Goodman in a really funny performance. There's some good kind of side characters, but it's this zany kind of, you know, ride where this baby who's like so cute, and the one that I read they had like 18 kids or something ridiculous like that to play all the babies. Obviously some of them were growing up and so on, but like the one who was used for most of the main shots was so cute and lovable, and you could see why I don't know. So there's a lot of heart in the film.
They chose the best one, he said.
They chose the best one. One of my favorite lines is when Nathan Arizona's downstairs. High is upstairs trying to steal a baby, and there's like a thud, and he looks upstairs and he goes, "Huh, sounds like Larry."
And then you see the names of the babies, which is Larry, Barry, Gary,
Harry.
Harry,
I
and
think
then
Harry,
Nathan Jr.
and then Nathan Jr. And
I think it was Harry, yeah.
he might not have said Larry, but he said what?
He did say Larry.
Okay,
I
so that
remember.
just fucking cracked me up. There's just so many, like, the dialogue is brilliant. You know, the High's boss who comes to visit, who's just a complete dick, you know, and he's telling these jokes, and High's just like not reacting to them. And I can so relate to when people tell me a bad joke and I just don't laugh, and they're like, "Didn't you get it?" And I'm just like, "It just wasn't funny," you know.
He says that to me every day. That was funny.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's more relatable to home life then, but no. So that was a funny moment, and then, you know, the fact that they get this kid and then suddenly they realize, wait, can we actually do this? And then they
Well, they brought a book, so
I got the manual.
yeah.
And then his boss comes over, and his boss has got all of these kids, and they're just complete terrors, and
Yeah.
and then like he's getting really stressed out about whether he can be a dad and stuff. There's a brilliant chase scene halfway through the film when he decides to rob a grocery store again, and the police go after him, and then his, you know, Ed is trying to get back to him, and then there's the guy from the grocery store's running through, dogs getting set loose, and then they're all just convening in different parts. The police car's spinning around the corner. Then these camera shots following him running through a house are just amazing. Some great handheld stuff going on in terms of the cinematography. And it's actually a really cool shot when the Arizonas find out that one of their babies has been stolen, and the camera just like glides across the front lawn, over like the thing that's in the middle of the driveway, and then up the ladder into the, you know, and it's kind of like an Evil Dead style, like, you know, roaming POV camera, which is really cool. And then you have this kind of villain, not really, but this weird biker dude who will just like throw a grenade to kill a bunny, which is just like the most ridiculous
Shoots a
thing.
lizard.
Shoots a lizard off a rock with a shotgun. You know, I don't know, there's just something so hilarious and offbeat about it that just cracks me up.
He just pure evil, but at the same time, it's funny.
Yeah, it's just...
He throws the grenade, and the bunny's like, "Ooh, what's this?" And then you see in the background it's blowing up, and you're just thinking, like, oh,
Yeah.
poor bunny.
Nicolas Cage is really good. I read that there was a
It
little bit...
wasn't that crazy.
Yeah, I read that there was a lot of disagreements with him and the director on this film, in that he was trying to add more of his own stuff, and they were kind of like, "Nope, we got just this is fine," kind of thing.
He wanted to add his crazy.
Seems like it. And so it was difficult, but, you know, they got what they wanted in the end. I think Holly Hunter's great.
I think maybe
As
that's
Ed.
why I enjoyed it more too.
Yeah, I think when he's reined in a bit, he's a lot, yeah, and he's got that crazy hair in the
I
film.
mean, it's great in Con Air. Yeah, the craziness of the hair is enough. Because it's ridiculous. The hair is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, yeah, but
So funny. But I like the other guys, the other two inmates.
yes, John Goodman.
When
I don't know who
when
the
they
other-
were escaping, like the unnecessary screaming, just getting that guy up like with one hand, but both of the feet are straight up. And it's just both of those it's so stupid. It's so funny.
It's one of
and
the-
how they're screaming when they figure out that the baby is gone.
Right, yeah, when they realize they've left the baby behind, and they're just screaming in the car. It's one of those gags that only really works if you commit to it and just have it go on for unnecessarily long, and then the laughs start to build, I think.
Yeah, because, well, it's funny, and then you stop laughing, and then
It just
it's
keeps
gone
going.
on for so long
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
start chuckling again.
But if you ever wondered what John Goodman might have been like in a film as the Hulk, then you can get a pretty good idea of that in Raising Arizona, when he bursts out of the fucking floor and he's got all this slop over him.
You can see the mud coming into his mouth as well.
Yeah.
It was basically the earth giving birth to Gold. What was it called? Goldman.
Goodman.
Goodman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you said it was like the Earth, he was being birthed almost,
Yeah.
and that's kind of an interesting
Well, it's
idea.
scream, isn't it?
And
There's no reason to. I'm sure it wasn't painful.
I his kind of sidekick I thought was pretty funny too, and the scene when they rob another, like, a gas stop store, and there's like
Yeah.
an old guy there. He's like, get down on the floor and count to 900, and then count back
I
again.
think it was something stupid like 852.
Maybe something like that. Yeah. So
And count back, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to check on you.
so they leave, and then they've gone, but then they realize they left the baby behind. So they turn around, and by this point, the shopkeeper is this really old guy. He's on the floor. He's like, 820. Ah, the hell with it. Gets up, and then he sees them driving back down, and he goes, oh shit.
Yeah.
Goes back down.
819. It's funny.
It's a great film. It's just
Yeah,
it's so
it's so many
entertaining.
little bits that
Hour and a half, never outstays its welcome, and
I feel like it's more of a 90s movie than an 80s movie.
and then it just I don't know, it feels 80s to me, and the way it wraps up,
But with the comedy and the
oh yeah, true,
the feel of it.
true, yeah, okay, that's a good comparison, but spoilers if you haven't seen the film. I don't think it's a film that can be spoiled really, but when they decide to take the kid back. I love that it's this scene where Nathan Arizona's just like, he realizes they're the ones who took them, and he kind of trusts them to a point where he just leaves them in the room to say goodbye, because if you brought them back, that at least says something about you.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't happen in real life,
He'd shoot them.
Right, yeah.
Because they're trespassing, and that's
But in this
illegal.
weird and wonderful world that exists, this movie exists in, it fits, so it's just it lives by its own rules in a way, and I just really
And
love
then
that.
just the nice ending as well, with his dream, because obviously he was true dreaming. What was it called? When
Lucid
dreams come
dreaming?
true. No, when your dreams come true.
I don't know.
Well, he knew about the biker guy. That happened.
True, yeah, he dreamed
Yeah,
about the
and
biker guy before he saw him, and then
He dreamt that they got kids for them on their own, and then those
Yeah.
kids had kids, and then they were all together when they were old, and that was nice.
yeah, I guess, yeah,
And they stayed together even though it looked like they were gonna
yeah. And I
separate.
and I thought Holly Hunter was great too. Like she's just like she is similarly wacky as High is, but the scene that got me the most was when they they first get the kid, or when they first High goes in.
So funny. Are you talking about I love him so much?
I'm going to get to that, but just the part when High comes out of the Arizona household and he doesn't have the kid. It's this maddening scene where he's got 5 kids. He's picking one up. He puts the other one down. He puts one on the floor. And what does he do? I don't know what he's doing. He's picking up one. The other one's crawling out. He's like, I've got to grab this one. And then he comes out and he's like, I just didn't work out. And she's like, you go in there, you get me a baby. So he goes back in, he comes back, and then immediately she's just like, I love him so much.
But it's just like you can't even hear it, and it's so. She was saying some gibberish stuff, and I was like, what? And then all of a sudden it cuts to her again. She's holding the baby, and she's like ugly crying, like I love him so much.
I love him so much.
And I just started laughing because I'm like that with Lily sometimes.
Yeah.
And I said, that's probably the way I'm going to be with a baby. I'm
Wow.
just going to go like, I love him so much.
I love him so much.
I know you do.
And that just made me crack up because I guess that's the way it can be sometimes. You just love something so much. You just, like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And it's so short as well, because you see her doing that, and then it cuts back to him going, and then she's just crying normally or whatever, but it's just like that. It's like 3 seconds. It's so funny. I remember her face. It's like stuck in my head.
I think that's the real strength of the film, was none of the jokes or the scenes or the moments ever outstay their welcome. Like it's so...
Well, the screaming
90
should have,
minutes.
but it didn't anyway.
Right, yeah, I suppose they do lean into that, but that, for me, it just it breezed by and was just super enjoyable.
It's because they only did it twice.
They only did it twice, yeah.
If they'd done it 3 or 4 times, like the scream in Killing Eve, it would have been too much. It was funny twice.
What scream? Oh, the guy, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I know you want to go.
If they'd done it 3 or 4 times, it wouldn't have been funny. But because they did it the second time, and that's it, that was perfect.
If you've seen Raising Arizona and season 3 of Killing Eve, then you might somehow get that frame of reference. But yeah. I agree. So, is it a film you should see before you die?
Yeah,
Wow, I'm surprised that you had that much
I
of a...
think so. Because I really, really enjoyed it this time.
It's a great comedy. It's super
I mean, the
enjoyable.
way we're talking about it now, it's kind of stupid to not recommend it.
Yeah, but I think that even though it is pretty much a farce, I think there is like a nice heart to it as well. Like they're endearing characters, even though they do really bad things. And I think it's a kind of a magic trick that they pulled that off and made the characters feel so sympathetic. And yeah, so I think it's a brilliant film. Apparently, at some point, it might still be. Edgar Wright called this his favorite film of all time, which is really interesting, especially considering his films and kind of the comedic nature of them and so on. So it must have been an influence at some point. I think that he said one of the chases in Hot Fuzz was like modeled after or inspired by the chase in Raising Arizona.
Ah, maybe the fence thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, anyway, but anyway, I'm just getting bogged down in random bits of reference, so we'll leave it there. I think it is a film you should see before you die, as far as comedies go, as far as just wacky, offbeat humor done
I didn't think
pretty
I
much
was
to
in the mood
perfection.
for a Nicolas Cage movie, but it was actually good.
Oh yeah, okay. I've been
I was waiting for him to say my shirt or do something super crazy.
That's a good point. I think the last time I made you watch a Nicolas Cage movie was Mandy, and so perhaps that lingering effect was still hanging over your head, thinking, I'm not going to like this.
because I like Con Air, and I liked Gone in 60 Seconds, and there's plenty of...
And who could forget Moonstruck? I mean, you know, we're talking...
Like, more than Mandy, that's for sure.
I lost my hand.
Anyway, good movie.
Thank you for watching.
Ta-ta.
And farewell. Ah, yes, I see you know your Coen Brothers well.